Okay, children, so this is the start of the second capsule. In the first capsule, we have seen the general properties of elements of group 1A. Here, we see the chemical properties. In the chemical properties, first we have reaction with air. Remember, this was already discussed in the previous capsule. So, we will very briefly go through this here. So, among the alkali metals, reactivity varies as lithium less than sodium, less than potassium, less than rubidium, less than cesium. Lithium, when reacted with oxygen, forms a monoxide. Sodium, it forms a monoxide in limited supply and a peroxide when in excess. On the other hand, the other members, they form superoxides. I was telling you about the logic here. A small cation stabilizes a small anion, hence and vice versa. Therefore, lithium forms a monoxide while sodium forms a peroxide, whereas the rest of the members, they form superoxides. So, the basic nature and solubility of the monoxides, whether it is Li2O or Na2O, it varies as Li2O less than Na2O, less than K2O, less than Rb2O, less than CS2O. In other words, CS2O happens to be most basic, remember, because cesium is most metallic, and also its solubility is high. So, both basic nature and solubility, they increase from Li2O to CS2O. Coming to the stability of peroxides and superoxides. As you can see, both peroxides and superoxides, their stability, it increases as we go down. That is, among the peroxides, sodium peroxide is least stable, whereas CS2O2 is most. Similarly, among superoxides, KO2 is least stable, whereas CSO2 is most. As already said, whether it is an oxide or a peroxide or a superoxide, alkali metals exhibit an oxidation state of +1 only. Then, so coming to the second chemical property, and that is a reaction with water. Alkali metals react with water and the reaction is almost explosive as you go down. The order of reactivity varies as lithium less than sodium, less than potassium, less than rubidium, less than cesium. Now, you can see twice M plus water gives 2 MOH and H2. Alkali metals react with water to form the respective hydroxides and liberate hydrogen. Children, this particular ability to react with water, as I said, it increases as you move from lithium to cesium. Not only water, alkali metals also react with other proton donors. It can be alcohol or ammonia, etc. Then, reaction with hydrogen. This is yet another important property of alkali metals. Alkali metals, when made to react with hydrogen, form their respective hydrides. The only difference is lithium combines with hydrogen at a temperature of almost 1073 Kelvin, whereas other alkali metals, they combine at around 673 Kelvin. Lithium hydride, it happens to be covalent, whereas the other hydrides are ionic. Now, lithium, due to its small size and relatively high ionization energy, doesn't easily form a cation, which is one reason as to why lithium compounds tend to be relatively covalent. So, the ionic nature of these hydrides, it varies as LiH less than NaH less than KH less than RBH less than CSH. In other words, again, the hydride which is most ionic among the alkali metals happens to be cesium hydride. Coming to the fourth property, which is a very important property, and that is reaction with halogens. Alkali metals combine directly with halogens to form halides. Now, the reaction of alkali metals with halogens, it varies as lithium less than sodium less than potassium less than rubidium less than cesium. This can be easily understood because cesium has a large size and can easily give an electron, hence it is highly reactive. A reaction of halogens with alkali metals varies as fluorine greater than chlorine greater than bromine greater than iodine. Remember, fluorine is a superhalogen and it can attack any metal, hence its reactivity is maximum. Now, the alkali halides which are formed are all ionic. They have the general formula, say M plus X minus. Now, remember, it is only halides of lithium which are not ionic. All other halides are ionic. Halides of lithium are covalent. Here, we need to remember a point. Lithium ion has an extremely small size. Smaller is the size of the cation, greater is its polarizing power. If the polarizing power of the cation is more, then the ability of the cation to polarize the anion, which is actually called polarizability, is more. So, if polarizability of the anion increases, then we know that covalent nature will increase. So, due to its small size, lithium ion can cause the polarizability of the anion easily. Hence, lithium halides, they happen to be covalent. Remember, among the halides, lithium iodide is the most covalent. A point to be remembered here is where other alkali metal halides are soluble in water and polar solvents, halides of lithium, they are soluble more in non-polar solvents, because the general rule is like dissolves like. So, as I was telling you now, lithium forms compounds which are covalent. Hence, lithium halides, they usually dissolve in organic solvents like ethanol, pyridine, etc. So, look at the order given there on the board. For a given halogen, ionic nature varies as LiX less than, NaX less than, Kx less than, Rbx less than, CsX. So, suppose you take fluorides, then lithium fluoride will be least ionic, whereas cesium fluoride will be most ionic. Here, the simple logic is, for the same anion, larger the cation, more ionic is the bond. This is a fact you study in the chapter called chemical bonding. Now, look at the next point. For a given metal, covalent nature varies as Mf less than, Mcl less than, Mbr less than Mi. That is, if you take a particular halogen, say sodium, sodium fluoride less than sodium chloride less than sodium bromide less than sodium iodide. That is order of covalent nature. Now, remember, here what we discuss is a point which is a converse of what we studied here. Remember, for the same anion, larger the cation, more ionic is the bond. And remember, for the same cation, smaller the anion, more ionic is the bond, or larger the anion, more covalent. In other words, the iodide of a metal, alkali metal, will be more covalent, or the fluoride of the metal will be most ionic. Yes. Yet another very important property of alkali metals is reaction of this alkali metal with ammonia. Now, remember, alkali metals react with ammonia solution, and this is how the reaction takes place. M plus X plus Y ammonia gives MNH3 X times plus, and of course, ENH3Y times minus. So, this is what is present in a solution of ammonia. A solution of ammonia has solvated electrons and solvated ions. Remember, a solution of ammonia in alkali metals has got a blue color due to the presence of this solvated ions or solvated electrons. These solutions, they act as very good reducing agents and are very good conductors. If this solution is allowed to stand, then we see that the color slowly disappears, fades and disappears. It is because of the formation of an amide. Sodium with ammonia will give NaNH2 and hydrogen. NaNH2 is called sodamide. Children, these solutions, they act as very good reducing agents. Now, a very important point to be seen here is, what if we take a solution whose concentration is high, that is, if it exceeds 3 molar? Yes. When solution concentration exceeds 3 molar, we see that the color of the solution formed, that is the solution of the alkali metal in ammonia, appears a bit copper bronze, that is, it gets a bronze color and starts giving a metallic luster. This is because of the formation of metal ion clusters. And remember, once this clustering starts, we see that this solution now is no longer paramagnetic, but it will become diamagnetic. This is one very important property of alkali metals. So, the last of the general properties, that is chemical properties of alkali metals, is to do with its reducing property. Remember, a reducing agent is one which helps in reduction by itself getting oxidized. Alkali metals, because they possess one single electron in their outermost shell, can act as good reducing agents. So, all alkali metals are good reducing agents. In the normal state, because cesium has a large size, we say it is a good reducing agent. But when we come to the aqueous state, then remember the best reducing agent happens to be lithium. Actually, lithium, due to its small size and a very high heat of hydration, and also remember lithium is the element which has the highest value for its negative reduction potential, negative standard reduction potential, or we say it has least SRP or highest negative SRP. Hence, it acts as a good reducing agent. Actually, children, this is something beyond your scope for a 10th standard student. We will study more about this when we come to the IIT classes in intermediate. Next, we come to the uses of alkali metals. Alkali metals have a number of uses, starting with uses of lithium. Common electrochemical cells, they contain lithium. Remember, we come across a term commonly now used called a lithium battery. Similarly, lithium is used in thermonuclear reactions. Coming to sodium. Sodium is used for the preparation of tetraethyl lead. Actually, children, in the olden days, to increase the quality of gasoline, that is petrol, the branching should be increased. In order to increase branching, they used to add a compound called tetraethyl lead. In its preparation, sodium was used. But remember, children, of late, this tetraethyl lead is not added because what we use now is gasoline without lead, unleaded. The reason for that is lead is a carcinogenic, it causes cancer. Next, sodium is also used as a coolant in nuclear reactors. Then, potassium. Potassium chloride is used as a fertilizer, and potassium has a vital role in biological systems. Children, this is a very important use about which you will be studying in higher classes. And next, cesium. Cesium is used in photoelectric cells. Children, in photoelectric cells, a minimum amount of light when fallen should be able to excite the electrons, and alkali metals, because they are having low ionization energies, they can be used in photoelectric cells, but among them, as cesium has the largest size, it finds an important application in photoelectric cells. That was regarding the points in capsule 2, where we have discussed the chemical properties of alkali metals and also the uses. In capsule 3, we will be coming to the different compounds of alkali metals, which will include hydroxides, halides, carbonates.